Hey guys, and welcome to the show. In this episode of TikTok Talk, we're getting engaged. That's coming up right after this. Alright, so those of you out there with a fear of commitment can exhale. We're not talking about the kind of engagement that results in a lifelong commitment. We're talking about chronograph engagement. And to break this down as simplistically as possible, we're going to be talking about cams versus column wheels and horizontal or lateral engagement systems versus vertical clutch systems. Now, the easiest way to explain them is that cam and column wheels are literally just switches that engage the chronograph, and lateral/horizontal systems and vertical clutch systems are what actually get the chronograph hand going. First, let's take a look at cams versus a column wheel. The cam is the more common system of the two and can be found in movements such as the caliber 861 and 1861 used in several Omega Speedmasters. The cam system can be seen here on this caliber 1861. On the more practical side, there's a difference felt when using the pusher of a cam actuated chronograph versus a column wheel. Because the cam actually has to be rotated on its axis to engage, it is a bit tougher to engage and doesn't feel as refined as a movement using the column wheel. Here you see the column wheel on a Panerai, which gives a much more crisp feel to the chronograph pusher. At the end of the day, cams work just as well as the column wheel, but it all comes down to the level of craftsmanship and difficulty to produce. The cam is much easier to produce and easier to service, which means cheaper. The column wheel is much more difficult to produce and much more difficult to service. So at the end of the day, it basically means that you're going to pay a higher price for having a column wheel versus a cam. To wrap this portion up, the cam and column wheel are basically switches used to turn on the chronograph. Next, we're going to move on to the two methods used to actually get the chronograph hands moving, and that's the horizontal or lateral coupling system and the vertical clutch system. The horizontal coupling system is almost exactly as it sounds and is composed of two gears that are always moving, which are on the right on this image, and their interaction with the third gear, which is on your left on this image, and how they connect when the chronograph is engaged. That interaction is highlighted here. When the chronograph is engaged through a cam or column wheel, gear A slides into gear B to get the chronograph timer started. The issue lies in the difference between the teeth size, which is highlighted on the right-hand side. Because the wheel on the left of this zoomed-in shot is always turning, when it meshes with the gear on the right to engage the chronograph, it can sometimes result in a jump start of the second hand versus the smooth start and stop experience with the vertical clutch. The teeth have to be as pointed as you see them here to ensure that they catch with the wheel when they're engaging. Because of this, continually having the chronograph running can increase the wear on both of the teeth, so continually running the chronograph is not ideal. In order to reduce the jolt start of the second hand, some movements such as the Valjoux 7750, which use a cam system and horizontal coupling system like this, have also incorporated a small gear called an oscillating pinion to help smooth the start of the chronograph second hand. That leads us to the vertical clutch system, which, unlike the horizontal coupling system, engages the chronograph vertically instead of horizontally, and does not involve any meshing of teeth. In this image, the vertical clutch is labeled with a B, and you see the column wheel switch labeled with an A. There are also two arms labeled C and D. In its current position, the chronograph would be engaged. When disengaged, arms C and D would slide inwards and lift the B portion directly up, or vertically, stopping the chronograph second hand. On the right is a closer look at vertical clutch systems. The larger diameter gear, pointed to by a red arrow, is always turning and is part of the wheel train of the watch. When the chronograph is engaged, the top portion, pointed out by the white arrows, is set down onto the already moving wheel and results in a smooth and immediate start and stop to the chronograph hand. Because the whole clutch is already part of the watch's wheel train and there are no meshing teeth, the engagement and continual running of the chronograph produces less drag and less amplitude drop than the horizontal method and can be run continuously with no issues. Like the column wheel, the vertical clutch system is more difficult to service and highly complex compared to the horizontal coupling system. An example of Rolex's vertical clutch system can be seen on the top right. Having said that, because the chronograph action is normally hidden under the main plate, a vertical clutch system is not as visually pleasing as the horizontal or lateral coupling system that can clearly be seen during engagement and disengagement. Here's an example of my JLC, where the actual vertical clutch is hidden underneath the main plate and rotor. While I engage and disengage the chronograph, you can just make out one of the arms sliding in and out as it lifts and lowers the top portion of the vertical clutch system. Some top manufacturers do try to have their cake and eat it too, meaning the visual beauty of the lateral layout and the buttery smooth start and stop of the vertical clutch. An example of that is the glorious Vacheron Constantin, which in 2015 did come up with a friction system in the Harmony line for their lateral coupling system to eliminate the jerk that can happen to the second hand at engagement. Now, our channel is full of several knowledgeable members, and this was a very quick and brief overview of chronographs. So if you have something to add, please go ahead and add it in the comment section below. If there's more you'd like to know, please feel free to check all my references in the video description and read the comments that are posted down below. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share. And as always, if this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. That's it for this one. CG out.